Cathay Pacific. They used to be known as one of the world's great airlines.
But even I, Marco Polo, never dreamed such wonders could exist as aboard Cathay Pacific's Rolls-Royce powered fleet.
But what are they like these days? Are they still one of the greats, or have they been left behind in a world of luxury airlines? It's not good. This week I take a flight to Japan to find out exactly what's happened to Cathay Pacific. Good morning from Hong Kong's Chek Lap Kok International Airport. And I'm taking a ride today with Cathay Pacific across to my 100th country. Let's go and get on board. I headed for security, where you get your photo taken before you head through. As it turned out, this was just my first photo of the day though, as every other checkpoint in Hong Kong airport takes your photo as well. I should have done my hair. After I got through security, there was one more photo shoot before I got through to airside and headed to the lounge. Cathay Pacific have several lounges here at Hong Kong Airport, and I decided to go to one called The Wing because it was the closest to where I was. Hi there. Good morning, how are you?
How are you? Thank you so much. Thank you, welcome.
Alright, thank you. Once you get inside, The Wing's a pretty standard business class lounge. There's ample seating and a bit of food and drink to choose, but I don't think it's particularly any better than a lot of the contract lounges that you find in airports around the world. Let me know what you think though down in the comments. This is the Cathay Pacific Wing Lounge at Chek Lap Kok Airport, and it's one of 3 lounges that they've invited me to come to here. I don't know where the others are, like miles away. I think this one's even miles away from the gates as well. They've obviously found a space here and are able to use it. I think it's about a 15-minute walk down to the gate, so it can't be too long here. Now, Cathay Pacific, you remember them as a kid being one of the solid airlines from around the world. They had a reputation for being one of the world's best airlines at one point. My old granddad, bless him, used to go on about Cathay Pacific all the time. It was the best airline he'd ever flown on because he used to fly through Hong Kong quite a bit with his work, through the old Kai Tak airport. And I remember flying on Cathay about sort of 15 years ago, and they were a bit crap, to be honest. They weren't that great. I don't know whether they will have improved a little bit in the meantime, who knows. Pretty soon it was time to head down to the gate. My word, I've never had that before. It's an L-shaped lift. You walk in that door and walk out that door. How weird. Let's head to the gate. We're at gate 24, which apparently is only like a 10-minute walk away from here. So, all right, and there is my ride over to Tokyo today. This is Cathay Pacific's Airbus A350. It's the latest aircraft that they've got in their fleet. When I last flew on Cathay, I think the biggest thing they had was the 747-400. Flew on a few of those. They were really, really cool. They don't have anything anywhere near as sort of exotic as that these days and as cool as that. But the A350 is still a pretty cool aircraft. And honestly, as I've said before, it is my favourite wide-body plane that's on the market at the minute. It's an amazing plane to ride on. So it's going to be great to ride over to Tokyo with it today on this plane. So it's going to be pretty cool. And they've got like this bridge thing just here, like they've got in LaGuardia in New York. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I was considering trying to go up and get a few pictures from up there, but my plane's going in a minute, so I don't really think I've got time. One thing I remember about Hong Kong Airport from last time I was here was the number of really cool exotic airlines that they get here that you might never even have heard of before. There's one out here today called Greater Bay Airlines. Who are they? 737, it looks like a 800 GBA. Who are they? If you know who they are, let me know down in the comments. Wouldn't that be a good one to get a ride on? Greater Bay Airlines. Plane spotting complete, it was time to get on board my ride up to Japan. Thank you. Hi, good morning, how are you? Yeah, it's okay, thank you.
That side, sir.
Alright, thank you.
Welcome on board.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I will.
My first impressions once I got on board weren't all that great. I mean, just look at how dirty this shelf is at the front of the cabin. Other than that, the seats in business class are in a pretty standard 1-2-1 configuration with super diamond seats like you find on many other airlines. I'm sorry, I'm in here. Let me mind out your way.
Are you on 17?
18.
18. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Over this one?
Yeah. 18 this one, yeah. Thank you. Alright then, welcome on board the Cathay Pacific Airbus A350. I've said many times on this channel I love the A350. It is probably my favourite wide-body plane, in part due to that amazing view you get out of the window. It's just a cool looking plane, isn't it good? And I think Cathay's livery suits it quite well as well. But this is business class seat, 18K on the Cathay A350, and it's a standard BE Diamond, Super Diamond, whatever it is, seat that you find on a lot of other airlines. Really nothing too special. You've got your controls up here, a little remote control. You've got like this little storage hole here, a cubby hole. Just got my crap in there, there's a mirror and stuff in there, and a little thingy there, and obviously space down here for the flatbed to lay down into. Quite a big TV screen here as well, which we'll have a look through in a bit. But in general, it's not too bad. It's not as nice as a lot of other business class products, but it's all right. It's only a 6-hour flight, so it's not bad for a leg like this, really. I am a happy av geek. They have cameras, one on the top and one on the front. That's my entertainment sorted for the flight. Sod the rest of the IFE, that'll do me.
But for now, sit back, relax, enjoy the service. I'll get back to you prior to our arrival in Tenerife with some updated details. Thank you.
And pretty soon we were pushing back from the gate to get on our way for our flight across Asia to Japan. As we taxied out, I saw this Cathay Pacific A321neo. They've only had them for a couple of years after operating a solely wide-body fleet for quite some time, so that was pretty cool. One thing I couldn't help but notice though as we taxied out was the absolute state of the fleet of Cathay Pacific. Their aircraft are absolutely filthy. Look at the state of this Airbus A330, and the other aircraft that I saw weren't that much cleaner either. Now, I remember many years ago Air France had a reputation for having the dirtiest planes in the world, but I just have to wonder if Cathay Pacific are the new holders of that title. Fairly soon though, we'd made it to the runway and it was time to take off and get on our way to Tokyo. Now, say what you will about Cathay Pacific, there is no denying that taking off and landing at Hong Kong Airport is just an absolutely incredible experience. It's just so beautiful here. Our route today then took us east out of Hong Kong to fly right over the top of Taiwan before heading across to Japan. Flight time today was 3 hours and 44 minutes, cruising at 41,000 feet. After we took off, I decided it was time to do a little piece to camera, which was a task easier said than done as I could hardly get a word in edgeways with all the announcements.
Hello everyone. The fasten seatbelt sign is the...
Right then, airborne. Like every announcement they are playing in like 12 different languages. I mean, it's like the United Nations of flight announcements. I mean, I don't know whether there's enough flight time today to get through every other language in the world, but we... Oh. This one like to go? No, I want to talk. Right. Airborne from Hong Kong. Finally, after about an hour and something delay, which has not really been explained, so brilliant. So we're airborne from Hong Kong now, heading on our way across to Tokyo. I have to say the cabin crew are quite nice, quite friendly. As I mentioned before though, the seat's nice. It's a lovely business class seat. Nothing particularly special, it's just a regular business class seat. Yeah, I think the thing is with Cathay, it's supposed to be the service that's the good thing, and that's what we're going to try out today, see what that's like. They seem to be nice. The cabin crew are quite friendly and quite helpful. they brought around some pre-takeoff drinks before we came. I just had a glass of orange juice, and now we're airborne, and they're going to start getting ready with the lunch service I think we've got today on this flight. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's nice to be in a really comfortable seat like this, actually, I have to say, for such a short flight. It's only like, I think it's about 4 hours up to Tokyo from Hong Kong, which isn't too bad at all, really. But as I said, yeah, it's a nice seat. Just nothing particularly that sets it apart from a lot of other airlines in business class, really, which is a bit of a shame, because I was kind of hoping that it might be something a little bit different, but it's not. But hey ho, it's still pretty nice, and we've got about 4 hours, I think, to run up to Tokyo. Thank you to this week's video sponsor, Surfshark, who always come to the rescue whenever I want to watch some British TV when I'm travelling. Surfshark is a VPN provider, and what that means quite simply is that you can use their software to connect to the internet from anywhere in the world and make it look like you're just at home, which has some really good benefits. For instance, I could be sitting here by a sunny pool in Vietnam and watching some Top Gear on my phone. It lets me watch EastEnders here in the middle of the Australian outback. Oh yeah, I'll have a Castlemaine 4X, please, mate. Cheers. Surfshark even lets me catch up with Only Fools and Horses while I'm here in New York. Now, Surfshark are offering you a massive 83% discount plus 3 months free when you use my promo code Noel Phillips at the link on the screen now. What are you waiting for? Even Baby Shark approves. As I mentioned before that I've flown with Cathay before, and I made a promise many years ago that I would never fly Cathay again after I had some absolutely awful flights with them. We flew to New Zealand and back with them on their A350 that they had then, and their 747-400 in economy. And the flights were pretty much just dreadful all around. They were all delayed massively, in some cases like 3-4 hour delays we're talking here on some of the flights. And on the way back, the icing on the cake on the way back, we took off from Hong Kong for our flight back to London. Bearing in mind this was 2006, so this was before the era of smartphones and Wi-Fi and having like movies downloaded onto your phone and things like that. We took off from Hong Kong. Within like 20 minutes of taking off, they shut down the in-flight entertainment system because of a fault with it, and we had a 13-hour flight back to London with no in-flight entertainment whatsoever. The screens were just completely dead. And yeah, as I said, remember this was like 2006, and nobody had like films and TV on their phones or anything like that to read, or to watch, or to read stuff on their phone or anything like that. There was nothing like that. It was a 13-hour slog in daytime, all the way from Hong Kong to London. And the service, again, on that flight was not that memorable, not that brilliant. The crew weren't particularly interested in the whole situation. They were just like, well, it's a bit of tough luck then, isn't it? Yeah, those flights, those delays, those issues I had back then kind of what's put me off flying Cathay again for a very long time. So far today, I have to say, not doing too bad. The crew seem to be quite nice. At least we've got working in-flight entertainment, which is a nice thing, and we've got the cameras, which is nice. Things have sort of improved a bit, I think, over the years in that regard, which is quite nice. Alright, food time, and this is the starter. We've got like some fruit here and a blueberry yogurt, and I've just gone for a glass of orange juice. So I did order a coffee as well, but that doesn't seem to have turned up, so I'll have to ask them in a minute if they can go and get me one. Alright, I asked them again for me coffee, and they've brought one round, so that's nice. And breakfast has just turned up as well, and it's scrambled eggs with bacon, sausage, and like, I think it's potatoes or something, and tomato. When you microwave a sausage, you ever microwaved a sausage? It sort of goes all weird, and that's yeah. It's not the best. It's not the best. It's definitely been microwaved, I think, because it's hot on the outside and cold on the inside. And the other thing is, as well, the food's absolutely swimming in grease. Taste it in your mouth. Yeah. It's not good.
It's time for the Noel Phillips Lou Review.
Alright then, time for the Cathay Pacific Lou Review, and it's doing the old flashy thing again. It's an Airbus, so I'm sorry, Airbuses always have this weird flashing effect on them, but anyway, this is what the state of the loo looks like. What's in here? What's in here? Bog roll, spare bog roll, and nice beauty makeup mirror there, yeah, that's pretty much it. There should be flowers there, but there ain't. Something else that we've not got on this plane. I am not massively over impressed with Cathay so far, I have to say. They're okay. Just everything's missing, you know. We don't have a blanket even at our seats. They haven't got any on the plane. I asked them, they don't have any. No amenity kits in business class. Again, it's not a massively long flight, so probably wouldn't be entirely expect that. I don't know whether you get them on the longer flights, but yeah, there's no amenity kits or anything. Just the food's not very good. The seats average. It's okay. I don't get it. I don't get why Cathay have this reputation for being such a fantastic airline when they're really not that great, to be honest. So yeah. But hey, never mind. We've not got long now. We'll be landing down into Tokyo, that's where we're going.
That was the Noel Phillips Lou Review.
Alright then, let's have a little look at the in-flight entertainment on the Cathay A350. So we've got this nice big TV here, and we go to the menu system here. You can go to the watch page and see we've got a few movies and stuff. Actually, there's quite a lot of stuff here, like John Wick, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Creed. Oh, it's that guy off The Office, isn't it? He's looking very ripped these days, isn't he? Magic Mike, Gaga, movie about Lady Gaga. Yeah, there's quite a lot of stuff there. Rick and Morty. Sam would like that. He likes Rick and Morty. Yeah, quite a lot of TV as well. The selection's quite decent, actually. There's like what we got, games to play. Quite a few games. Of course, the cameras as well. I wish that was the view that we had on the camera. Wouldn't that not be an amazing view? But you've got the front view showing the sea, and then there's a top view showing the plane and the sea. And then we've got the flight map, which is just Flight Path 3D. We see on a lot of flights, and it's quite nice. It's one way you can sort of zoom in and move around and stuff. I like it when it's like that, so you can actually keep an eye on stuff. It just gets annoying though when you zoom right in. You want to see where you're literally flying over right now, and the plane becomes massive and like half the size of China. But hey, I guess it's designed for casual lookers, not people who are connoisseurs of flight maps, I guess, if you could call yourself that. But it's quite good. So yeah, they get good marks for their entertainment system, I have to say. Very decent entertainment system on Cathay. It's just everything else that's kind of just lacking, really. I mean, like, the food's crap, if I'm honest. Not very nice at all. The crew are okay, quite friendly. The seats average. You know, the trouble is, like, even if the airport experience wasn't brilliant, the lounge wasn't brilliant, everything's just meh. It's just okay. And that's the thing. Cathay have this reputation for being a really, really good airline, one of the world's best airlines. And I don't necessarily think that's deserved. There's so many better airlines out there than Cathay. I mean, just yesterday I flew Shanghai Airlines, a Chinese airline, and they were much better than Cathay in every single way. There is no comparison between Cathay and the airlines like Singapore or Qatar, Emirates, airlines like that. If anything, I'd say even airlines like Air France and BA and United are better in their business class than Cathay. It's just a bit sort of nothing, really, which is a bit of a shame. Alright then, started our descent down into Tokyo, Japan, my 100th country that I've set foot in. Isn't that
incredible. I never say visited, by the way, because I don't really think, unless you're spending a lot of time somewhere, you can never really visit it. So I work on countries that I've actually been in, and as long as you've been in that country and been subject to their laws effectively, then you have been to that country, even if you are just transiting. But we are visiting Japan for a few days. We've got quite a lot to do here. A few videos to make while we are here, so it's going to be fun, isn't it? Exploring this amazing country. Yeah, this amazing country that's not showing us very much at the minute because it's sort of underneath a layer of cloud. But hey, we'll be on the ground very soon and ready to explore, I guess. As we got closer to Tokyo, the clouds cleared beneath us and I started to get a great view of my 100th country, and let me just say the approach into Tokyo was absolutely phenomenal. I've flown to a lot of places in my time filming for this channel, but I have to say that flying into Japan is just one of the most incredible experiences. The scenery out of the window is like something out of a Disney movie. It's just fantastic. If you want to follow my journeys in real time as I travel around the world, consider checking out my Instagram at noelphillips.official. I'm also over on TikTok too, for as long as it lasts anyway before they ban it, at Noel Phillips. We are landing in Japan. So excited, I wanted to come here for so long. My flight from Hong Kong to Tokyo today worked out at a cost of just over $1,000 or around about 795 British pounds, or about 57 cents per mile. Now, I didn't think that was particularly good value for money, considering that for the same price I could have flown on Japan Airlines or numerous other nice airlines on this route. But let me know what you think to Cathay Pacific down in the comments. Perhaps you have had a better experience with them than me. I'd love to hear about it anyway, just let me know down in the comments.
Alright, welcome to Japan. Wow, what an approaching landing that was. This place looks amazing already. Can't wait to get out of the airport and start exploring it. I'm going to see if they'll let me in first though. And as I got to the immigration line, it turned out that I'd have some time to wait before I found out whether they'd let me into the country or not. The line was absolutely massive. Now, with the delay to my flight from Cathay Pacific, I only had 3 hours to connect between my flight here arriving at Narita and then flying out again from Haneda Airport on the other side of Tokyo. So when it took over an hour to get through the immigration line, well, that was a little bit concerning, really. But eventually, after an hour in the line, my first example of Japanese efficiency was complete and I was allowed into Tokyo to start my Japanese adventure. Any baggage? No, just hand baggage, yeah. Alright, thank you. Alright, finally made it through and I am landside. I've got a flight to catch in about 2 hours, so I've now got to get my way across Tokyo. So let's go and see if we can get a taxi or something. There's one here, let's go and have a look. Alright, that wasn't a taxi, it was a shipping service. Oh, this is a learning curve, right? There's a taxi somewhere. Oh dear, nearly got the package bundled up into a box.
Eventually, however, I found the right place to go to get a taxi and I headed outside to get my ride across to Haneda.
Taxi to Haneda? Yeah, thank you. Do you take cards? Yes. Yes, okay.
International?
International, domestic, Edu. Terminal 2 at Haneda.
And I know I can hear you all shouting in the comments about how expensive taxis are in Tokyo. I was about to find out, as this taxi ride that just took 40 minutes across to Haneda Airport cost me over $250 US. Ouch. It was, however, the quickest way to get across to Haneda Airport on this day, because I think that the train takes about an hour and a half to do the same sort of distance, so 40 minutes when I had a flight to catch was a no-brainer really, even if it did bankrupt me in the process. Alright, so welcome to Tokyo, country number 100 for me here in Japan. Finally through that mammoth line at immigration in a taxi heading across to Haneda, where I'm going to pick up my next video, so make sure you stay tuned so you don't miss that one. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that. But yeah, let's begin this Japanese adventure. Thanks very much for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.